Welcome back to the Circle of Life Level 2, Creature Power. Let's get started. This is the last mission of this level. Our key point is living things interact with their environment in order to meet their needs and survive. To do so, every organism inherits characteristics from its parents that allow it to adapt and change to meet its needs. Organisms that do not inherit useful adaptations that give them an advantage will not survive as it competes with other organisms for resources. We find organisms living together and using their adaptations and instincts in ecosystems around the world. Producers, consumers, and decomposers play an important role in creating a diverse and balanced ecosystem. What do living things need in order for them to survive? So far, we've learned that they need to inherit characteristics from their parents. They need to inherit useful adaptations in order to survive in their environment, and they also need to respond to change in their environment, or they may not survive. Mission 2 is about responding to change. Mission 3 is about organisms actually causing change in their own environment and what happens to the environment because of that. So we want to be able to describe how organisms cause change in their environments. Our challenges are: what are the 3 ways non-native organisms harm their environments? Explain how a plant can cause a change in an environment that is harmful. Explain how an animal can cause a change in an environment that is harmful. And then explain how a human can cause a change in an environment that is helpful. Changes can help some organisms and harm other organisms. Many non-native, meaning organisms that are not supposed to be there, that humans in most cases probably, have introduced that non-native species into a new environment. Those type of organisms can cause change that harm environments, and that's because non-native organisms that aren't supposed to be there, they have no natural predators that maintain balance in an environment, meaning there's nothing there to eat them or to make sure that they're not growing out of control. There is no competition for many non-native species. So as a result, these non-native organisms overtake the native species and become the dominant species in that ecosystem, which is not always good. Purple loosestrife is a non-native plant, meaning that it wasn't supposed to be there naturally, that animals do not eat, so there's nothing there to eat it, so it's going to grow out of control. As a result, it is free to grow all over its environment and push out the native plants that are living in that environment. So that's not a good change for the environment. Kudzu is another non-native plant, and you see that there on the bottom picture. That grows very similar to ivy. Look how much it's grown just in that small environment there. It grows great in the southeastern United States and destroys the native plants and trees in the forest because it blocks their sunlight. You can see how it's just crawled and grown over everything in that picture. It's blocked out the sunlight for anything underneath it, meaning those things are not going to survive. Animals can also cause change. Some animals change their environment to improve their habitat. This can be a positive change or a negative change for their environment, either one. Beavers build dams because they need deep water in order to live. In order to make this dam, they cut down trees and build a dam across a shallow stream or river, causing the water behind it to become blocked and form a deeper pond. They need that deep water to live. However, this can be good and bad. The change caused by beavers building help plants and animals that need to live in still water. That water, one that's blocked by the dam, is no longer moving, and so that's good for those plants that like still water. Many small plants and shrubs that need sunlight will grow in that place. But however, the beaver creating that dam also causes a change that harms plants and animals. The animals that were living there, their shelters become flooded by the dam, and then they will die. Trees had to be cut down to build the dam, and then the plants and animals that actually prefer flowing or moving water will lose their homes. So I hope you see that a beaver dam can be both beneficial, good for that environment. It's good for the beaver and for other plants that like sunlight and still water, but it's bad for other organisms that were living in that environment that now don't have a place to live. It's bad for the trees that it cut down, and it causes some animals to lose their homes. Humans, we also cause change. We actually cause a lot of change in our environment. When we build homes and other structures, we cause change to environments. We cut down trees and plow fields to create room to build. And then when we move into areas where other plants and animals live, we take away those plants and animals' environments. So those are not good changes that we make to an environment. Usually the changes that we make, while they're good for us, they're not always good for the organisms living in that environment. This is the end of Mission 3 and also the end of Level 2. Please make sure that you are ready to answer the challenge questions for this mission, but then don't forget to watch the video after this, because that's going to help you with your boss questions for this level up. So please be ready to answer those when it is time to do so. If you have any current questions, don't hesitate to ask. I will see you in that video to help you with those boss questions.